Okay, so today we are talking about the Zoom, the L-8 Zoom, right? This little device right here that does a lot. We're going to go through all the things that it does. So we're going to start off with how we get sound inside of the device. So we see here our inputs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8. So these inputs allow for two different types of inputs. That's XLR and quarter inch, right? So XLR like mic cables, a quarter inch is like guitar cables. Either one of them can plug up in here. And then we see another input right here. Well, this one specifically is for your quarter inches. And then we see another one right here, and you notice that this cable, right, came with it. Now, I don't want to bore you with details, but anytime you see a cable like this and you see three lines, you notice that's going to be both left and right and speaking. So the cool thing about this cable is I can plug this cable up in here, and the other side of the cable, it's actually going to go to your phone. Now, if you have newer iPhones or something like that, you may need some type of adapter, but just know that that's what this cable is for. It's a very special cable, left, right, and voice. It's what that third one is there for. Okay, so keep this cable somewhere near, and you can see it's also denoted right here. I don't know if you can see that phone. As phone, right? Yeah. And then you can, this particular thing, you can choose what input. We're going to come to that in just a second. But going back over here, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 as far as taking XLR inputs and quarter inch inputs. Okay. So if we look down, right, we see this one channel, 1, right? We look all the way down to these sliders, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if we're just looking at number 1, that's this here, okay? And we look all the way up, right? All this is 1, okay? We'll start right here. This is the gain. Now, generally, think about this is how much power, how much loudness you're going to have for that particular channel, okay? Now, to start off, if you're trying to figure out where should I start, okay, you see this little bitty white line right here, okay? A little white line, the thick one. It's a little thicker than the rest of them. It usually has 0 next to it, and this one has 0 as well. Just hard for me to see these days, right? That's unity gain. So you want to make sure this white line here is lined up with that white line. And this is in your starting position, okay? And then you want to adjust the gain to where it sounds good. Now, the gain is like the big knob.
When you say sounds good.
It's not feeding back. It's loud enough. It's not too soft. So you're like, this is a good level, okay? And then you can adjust it from there.
Is this for live or is this for recording?
It's all of the above. That's the great thing about this board. Like you can do live, you can do recording. You can also utilize this board just to as a speaker for your computer as well. You can do a lot with this. It's a very powerful little board, so don't let the size fool you. Like literally, I've taken this to live gigs and done a live recording and come back and utilize my system to be able to utilize this for the recording. I mean, it's a very, very powerful little device, right? A lot of them ones. So now we start breaking down what all these little things do and what they mean. So here we see this little button right here, right? That is your mute button. It says, well, it has a picture of the little mute. So if I click it, then I don't hear anything coming through there because I've muted or turned off that particular channel. So if you see it red, it's muted, okay? The next is record and play. Now we're gonna deal with that in just a little bit, right? We're gonna come back to that one, but that's to arm the track. We're gonna talk about it in a minute because you are gonna need that. Now coming to this next one here, your select, your SEL. What this is doing, and this is kind of like on your newer digital boards, you would select the channel, and after we select the channel, over here where it says channel strip, see that? All of these things, whether it's the effects here, high, mids, and lows, your EQ, your panning left and right. And what that means is that if I have some speakers up and if I pan something to the left, then all the sound is going to the left. If I pan it to the right, then everything is going to the right. Okay? That means that, like, let's just say, for example, for whatever reason, you have a harp on here and you say, I only want my harp to come through the left speaker, okay? Then you pan it all the way to the left, okay? And you see that little dot there, right? It's changing. Okay, if you want to pan it all the way to the right, you
Is
see a
there a
little bit.
reason you would ever do that recording?
There is a reason. So let's just say, for example, I have a, um, I have what's it called? A keyboard, okay, and I may have left and right on the keyboard and have left and right out, and maybe I'm here, left and right out, or I'm even want to hear left and right out, 1 and 2. So 1 would be left out from the keyboard, 2 would be right out for the keyboard. So let's just say I have that set up. And I have that set up because in the keyboard there are sounds that kind of go left and right. They are specific. So it may modulate between left and right, but it's a stereo sound. So it sounds different in each speaker.
Yeah.
And so on the board, I may say, okay, take 1 and then pan it all the way to the left, and then take number 2. I'm selecting number 2 and pan it all the way to the right. Okay. So once again, if I select 1, okay, we see it change. Okay, if I select 2, it changes to here what we've done. So I'm going to go ahead and put these back in the middle, though,
Now,
just so
in
they'll be
this
there.
hypothetical thing, would 1 be both and 2 both be the harp, or both be the
Sure.
keyboard,
So
or
let's
1
just
be the
say
harp and 1 be the keyboard?
let's just say you had 2 microphones on the harp, and one is way left and one is way right, and you want people to hear it like that. Like, because if I'm sitting in front of the harp, technically speaking, I will hear something a little bit different on my right side than I hear on my left. And maybe you want to capture that exactly. And so on the left side, you have a mic, and on the right side, you have a mic, and maybe you want to pan them.
And
Okay.
each mic is a different channel.
Each mic is a different channel.
Got it.
Okay.
All right.
Now,
and it could be a different instrument, like a keyboard or
could
whatever.
could be a keyboard, could be a computer, could be a microphone, right?
Okay. Could it be another track of the harp, or is that
could be another
different?
track of the harp.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. And a lot of times you may want to do that through a cell phone, right? Through a computer. You may have a computer hooked up. I can actually hook this up to a computer so that literally the input is the computer. It doesn't even come through any of these, right? It comes directly through the computer. It comes out of the computer through the line, and then I select it right here.
Okay,
where it's saying USB.
What's coming out of the computer?
Whatever's playing on the computer.
So
if you have a track playing, yeah.
Okay.
It could be a YouTube page or whatever you pull up.
Okay.
Now, so let's go over now. So we have this area right here, 7 and 8. As you can see, it's a little different. You can't plug your XLRs into here, but you can plug 1/4 inches in here. Okay. But you also have another option. I can do a 1/4 inch, or this right here, input select. I can click this, and now it's a USB. So it's playing from the computer if I hit that. So even if I had something plugged into 1/4 inch, it's really playing back whatever is playing on that computer, which could be nothing, or it could be a YouTube channel, or it could be a track of something.
How is it connected to the computer?
It's going to connect to the computer through this device right here. Okay. Now, because
what is that called?
Well, this right here is just a regular USB. Now, because your computer doesn't have a USB, I've connected this particular hub that actually has a USB. This is a USB-A, right? So your computer right now has USB-C.
Okay.
So because of that, that's why I brought that, right? So that you can have this. This is your gift, right? So that now I can get this plugged into here, which is USB-C.
Port is over here.
Right. So this is all one piece. This piece is one piece.
But the C port is this port, and all these other ones are the adapter.
So yeah, it's a lot of different types. So like, yeah, there is a USB-C here, USB-C-A. This is USB-C-A. This is also A. This is a
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, all kind of stuff. This is your HDMI port here.
Okay.
Okay. So you got a lot of different options.
Okay. How much is this little baby?
I don't even remember. I bought a couple of them some time ago. So
okay.
Yeah. So it's free for you. There we go.
I'm going to start out with paying you what I paid today, but I really want to pay you more.
It's all good. So check it out. So now here's the important thing as well. Okay, now we come over to this side. And here's the sweet thing about this little board. Once again, this board is $399, should be $1,500.
Yeah.
Because of all that it does. It replaces 3 devices. Okay. So what happens is you can change what you're doing on this computer. There we go. You can on this device. You can change what I'm doing. So right now I have it selected to be a recorder.
Okay.
I can select it to be a mixer.
Okay.
Right? I hit this. Now
Yeah.
I've changed the mode. I'm live. I'm at an event. And now I'm using this as a mixer. Okay. Maybe I have some speakers plugged up or something like that. I'm gonna come to that in just a second. So I'll just switch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's just say, okay, well, I want to since I'm playing live, I want to get the effects live too. So I hit the effects button right here.
Yeah.
And now on this little screen, I'm changing the type of effects that are in here, right? So I can change them just with these buttons, right? Room or
Gotcha.
plate or vocal
What
or
does
whatever.
plate mean?
It's just a type of reverb, right?
Okay.
It's the plate reverb. And you can play along with those. You can change the individual settings with each one of those. I don't know if you can see it here on screen. Okay.
Yeah.
But you can change that, right? So you got a lot of options, with this particular board. This is why I wanted you to get this one.
Okay.
Let me clean this a little bit. Kind of dirty. There we go. All right.
What? Okay.
All
What
right.
the scene? Or are you still
So-
talking about this?
So, okay, so you can change effects, right? You can go
Yeah.
through the effects.
Yeah.
Now, scene, here's a cool thing. Let's just say you got a set like you want to set it.
Yeah.
And you want to save the scene. You can go to scene and save it and bring it back.
So it's a preset.
Now, going back to recorder,
How do you know your presets? How do
it'll
you
have the
distinguish them?
light will come up on where the different
okay.
things are.
Alrighty.
Okay. Now other things will just go there, right?
Uh-huh.
But like for like where these were, they will light up.
Okay.
So to where it should be, right? So now here's the cool thing about this one as well. So if we turn this over, okay. Now, trying to get this on tape. Okay. So right here, if I open that up, there's a slot there.
Yeah.
That slot is for SD, your SD cards. You know what those are?
Yeah.
Okay. Put the SD cards in there. Okay. Put a new one in there, and now you can also record on the SD card. Okay.
Are
So
SD cards still current technology?
Oh, yeah.
They've been around for a long time.
oh yeah, your device takes it right over here. Yeah, I use them every day.
What do you use them just to store data?
I usually use them as a backup for like when I'm filming, right? So like it'll put we're using one right here. So this is a mini SD card inside of here right now recording.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a small. Now I put that in, and I'll show you in just a second. So I take that out, put it in a larger case, and it fits right into the computer. All right. So yeah, we still use these all the time.
Okay.
All the
And
time.
what's the storage capacity of these things?
So they range. So I think the biggest one I have is about 512 gigs.
I think I have
So
some.
half a terabyte.
I think I have some.
And this is not going to take nearly that amount of space. I mean, just tiny amount of space. You can get one that's like 16 gigs, and it'll run this all day. You'll be fine.
I
Right?
just have to think of where, but I'm pretty sure I have some SD cards.
Yeah, you
Even
can
though
throw them in here. Now you want to make sure you don't have any data on there you want to keep,
Right.
Because you may have to format it when you put it in here. Okay.
Oh.
But it'll show up on the screen if you do, and you can just
Okay.
press the little button and
Okay.
format it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Now, let's just say you want to hook speakers to this.
Okay.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. So now that was 7. So let me just handle 8. So 8 has 3 options as far as inputs are concerned. Okay.
Uh-huh.
One is line. Okay, like a guitar or something like that.
Uh-huh.
We also have the option of the USB, which is the computer.
Yeah.
But then we have this third option in the middle that is phone, and that's literally if you have it plugged up to a phone. So I can just hit this input select right instant selected phone, and then here is selected USB. Okay, and then you have the fourth option of I want to use these presets here. Your for what you're gonna do, you're not really gonna need those at all. So,
I'm at the baby level.
well, it's because these are like preset sounds,
Yeah.
like somebody crying or whatever.
Uh-huh.
You can put stuff in there. Like if we were doing a TV show,
Yeah.
and I wanted to do applause, hit the button and applause comes.
Okay.
That's what those are for.
Okay.
Now,
All right.
both of these input selects, I can move them down to there. So when you see these lit up, that means, okay, I'm using that input select,
Okay.
right?
All right.
That input. So wherever is lit up, so right now next to 7 and 8, line is lit up. That's telling you that's where it's going to get the sound from. So if I click it again, now you see 7 and 8 is where the phone is. That's where I'm going to get the input from. And then here, 3 and 4. Now it's saying that's where I'm going to get it from the USB cord, i.e. the computer, and then one more. I'm going to get these lighting up, and I'm going to just hit those, right? So once again, you probably just use the phone or these.
Right.
Okay. Now, if you want to plug speakers into here, you
Now,
can.
I need you to back me up.
Sure.
Why would I use this instead of that?
Maybe you have 8 things to plug up, right? So if you have like 8 inputs, then 1 through 8. Now for you, you're probably going to have most of the time have 2 or 3.
Oh.
So yeah, you'll be fine.
You don't use these unless you've used all of these up?
Most of the times not, because you have less options with these as well.
Okay.
If you notice that I only have gain on 1 through 6, right?
Okay.
I don't have gain on these 2,
Okay.
right? Also, I don't have pan on. Oh wait, maybe you do have pan on these now. Wow, you didn't used to. Okay, so but there's certain things that I'm not gonna have. So let me also cover this. So you see like negative 25 dB, right?
Yeah.
So once again, you're probably not going to need to press that. When you press that, it's like, I need this to be a lot softer. So let's just say, for example, we were recording a train, the sound of a train coming by. And the train is so loud that even if we turn that down, it's still way too loud. And so we need to put it down. So let's say take 25 dBs away or decibels away before we even start listening to this, right? And so that's just going to make it a lot softer. Okay. This here for your record. So if you want to record on the actual device, you're going to hit. Now this is, you need to know this one. You're going to hit the record button, and then you're going to hit the play button. It will not start recording if you don't hit that play button. Okay. And then to stop, you're just going to hit that stop button right there. Okay. And that's really about. Oh, so if you want to hook some headphones up, you can hook at least 4 up to 4 headphones here. And once again, you just use the 1/4 inch, plug it in there, and you're gonna control it here. You can have different mixes per, but don't actually just use them all at the master. Once again, it's just you, so it's probably not gonna make a big difference. But if we were sitting down and we were doing a podcast, and you had 4 different people, and they all need to hear something different, you could do that just with this. This is your monitor out area, and this is your master area. So if we were to take and plug some speakers, like if you're doing a live event and you got some speakers out there, you can plug them into here, and it'll be coming directly out of this little bitty device. Right? It's pretty sweet. So if you're somewhere like a wedding or something, and you need to bring your own sound, you can bring a speaker, plug it directly into here, use this as a live board.
Do you have to watch out for feedback sound?
Yes. So, and that's when you're going to utilize 3 things. You're going to utilize your gain, bringing it down. You're going to utilize your volume here, okay? And you're also going to utilize your highs, mids, and lows. So if it's a high squeal, then that's your high frequency feedback. You can take and turn that down. If it's a middle squeal, that's your mids right here. If it's low frequency feedback, you can turn down your lows. Okay, so that's your EQ that you can have right there. Right, make sense?
What does EQ mean?
Equalization.
Okay.
You remember a long time ago in our cars, like they would have those little bands up and down, like the lows, mids, and highs inside of that?
Yes.
That's what this is. It's just dials instead of like little sliders, right? Because back in the day, you would have something like this in the car, right? And this would be your lows, this would be your mids, this would be your highs, right? So same type of thing. It's just in knobs, and we can tell how high or low it is by where the thing is. So if I have it where the light is, so if I have it in the middle there, at 12 o'clock, it's just straight up, right? It's it's not boosting, it's not cutting or anything. It's just even, right? So if I need the lows to be higher or louder, then I turn it up over here. If I want it to be lower, then I turn it down. Okay. Cool.
Okay. I understand pan, and I understand the EQ. What is this? EFX.
That's the effects. So now what you're doing here, there's 2 things on effects. Okay. I'm gonna start with this one. This slider right here tells me how loud I want the effects to be overall. Okay, overall.
Okay.
For the whole board. This little one says how much of that effect I want in that, um, okay, it's doing good, in that particular channel. So, for example, I may say I only want effects on channel one, and this is our channel one. Okay, I'm going to hit select. I'm going to come over here to effect, and I'm going to turn that effect up.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to make sure that in channel two, no effect. Three, see, all of these have no effects.
Okay.
Okay, but if I go back to one,
yeah,
we see we got plenty of effects.
Okay.
Now, but it's also there because I have this turned up.
Yeah.
Now, if I turn this down, it doesn't matter what that says. I'm not getting any effects coming through this board. If I turn it up, then whatever is turned up here, I'll get an effect on.
Gotcha.
So I may have reverb and delay and that kind of stuff on it.
Okay.
Right, and it'll come through as long as I do that.
Okay. What does low cut mean?
Okay, so low cut is if you think about a frequency chart, right? So on the left hand side, you got 20 millihertz, 20
hertz,
20 hertz, right? And then on the right side, you have 20,000 hertz, right? Now, technically speaking, that's they say we hear between 20 and 20,000. We don't, and as we get older, we hear less, right? And so, and we also may be dealing with an instrument that doesn't have either lows or highs or whatever. So let's just say we're dealing with hi-hats, like on a drum set.
Yeah.
So on the drum set, hi-hats don't have any lows. So there's no sense in us even EQing the lows because there shouldn't be any, and having that with everything else may muddy up the track. And so what we'll take is we'll cut out the lows, right? Now, in certain types of things, we may do that manually, but here we have an opportunity to hit low cut and it automatically takes out the lows. So usually, depending on the board, usually either 60 or below or 100 or below, right? So depending on the board, this is probably more like 60 or 62 and below. But when I hit that, then all those lower frequencies are gone. Now,
completely gone?
Well, it's a ramp, right? It cuts it, but it's a slow cut. So, but for the most part, we don't hear that anyway, right? We don't really hear that anyway. But if we have something like a kick drum, we would not hit low cut, right? We definitely want to keep that in there. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah. I know this is mute. I know this is to select it.
Oh,
I know this is.
Let's go back to record play.
Yeah.
So if I'm in recorder mode, okay, I'm getting ready to record. I got to tell the device, what do I want to record? Because remember, I could be playing something back on something else, and I don't want to record that. Maybe I'm playing it on my phone or whatever. I don't want to record that part. Maybe I just want to record this other stuff. Okay, so that's what this is for, the record and play. Right?
So nothing will record unless you, and nothing will play unless you press it.
Right.
Okay.
So like, let's just say I'm recording and I've got those three. And so I'm telling this little computer that I want to record the first three things here. Now this is not going to record right now because I don't have a thing in it, but I would hit here and it's going to tell me, right, there's no card, right? So when I go to hit record, no card in here. But if it was, I would record and play, right? It would start recording and it would count. You know it's recording because it counts. If it's not counting, it's not recording. Keep that in mind, right? So it's counting and recording, and then to stop it, I hit stop. And then I can also play back. And I'm playing whatever is also selected here, right? So
the destination for any recorded data is an SD card.
Okay, so the destination can be your computer with GarageBand and the SD card. Okay. Right, so now, so whenever we plug this up to the computer, the computer is going to recognize this thing and say, hey, that's an input device, right? That's an interface. I can use that to bring in sound. So the computer is going to know that. So when you open a GarageBand is going to say, hey, computer, do you know anything that can be an input device? It's going to say, yeah, there's some great mics on here. Oh, and by the way, this other thing is plugged up. You can use it too. And then you can, on GarageBand, assign where you want to record. Like I want track one, I want it to be number one over here. Okay. And so when you record on GarageBand, it's getting information from here. But you can also record here as well. So if you want it in two places, you can okay, I want to record here and hit recording simultaneously. Cool. Okay, no problem.
I forgot what these guys are about.
Okay, so there's two different types here. So 1 and 2 is a little bit different. We would use this high Z. We would use that if we got like a guitar or something. It's high impedance is what it actually means. But
What does high
computer.
impedance mean?
So instruments like guitars are going to like have a different type of I'll say power coming into here, right?
Okay.
And so we can deal with that a little bit differently if we have like let's just say a guitar plugged in or something. I'm trying to think of anything other than a guitar. I can't think of
Would a
anything.
harp be like that?
No,
Okay.
no, it's going to be a low impedance.
Oh.
I can't think of
So
anything
what
other than a
makes
guitar.
what makes a guitar high impedance?
Well, first of all, you're going to have like power coming in from it. So it's going to be, it's going to react a little bit differently. Now, I will say this, that in most cases, it's not really going to make a difference, right? Uh-oh, is it going to come back on? Yeah, hopefully it comes back on. Anyway, it's not going to make a lot of difference, but this board is just made to handle it a little bit better. It's not going to come into play with the things that you're going to be doing, but just know that if you did have a guitar, you're going to plug it into 1 or 2 because you have the option for your high impedance or not here. So I can
And
take
there's
that down.
nothing else but a guitar that takes that?
There may be, I can't think of any right now. I'm trying to think of, I can probably look it up
I
and see if
guess
there's
I
something
don't
else.
understand the
And I'll look it up
term
to
high
see if,
impedance.
let me look it up to see if someone's explaining it kind of better than I can explain it, right? And see if there's other instruments that would do that. I can't think of any at the
How would
time.
you explain high impedance?
That's what I'm struggling to explain to somebody.
Yeah.
So I'll look it up in just a second and we'll get a,
Okay. Is there
let's get
low,
a,
middle, and high?
there's low impedance. I don't think there's
There's
middle.
just high and low.
There may be middle, but I'm not familiar with it if it is. But let me see.
I've heard of that, but I don't know what it means.
Let's
You
see.
know.
Let's see how we can define that. See if somebody can define it better than me. Oh, there it is. Okay. So high impedance refers to a circuit point that allows a small amount of current to pass through for a given voltage. High impedance circuits have low current and potentially high voltage. The numerical definition of high impedance varies by application. So that's a very technical thing, but I'm telling you, the thing is that because I'm hooked up to a guitar is throwing power back, right? And so because of that, so like a mic is not, right? So your mic is not sending any type of voltage back to this at all, like from a power perspective. But a guitar would.
Why would a guitar throw power back and not a trumpet?
Oh, two totally different things. So a guitar is like all electric and it's literally powered. Like an electric guitar is a powered thing.
So this is, I was thinking acoustic guitar. Okay.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Yeah. So if it's an acoustic guitar, no. Only electric guitar.
Okay. Electric guitars, guitar is a high impedance.
Yes. Yes.
Well, what about there's electric harps and electric violins, and they would be high impedance, wouldn't they?
Maybe so.
Okay.
Maybe so.
Because they're putting out more power.
Yeah, because they're putting out any power.
Now I'm getting the concept. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah, that's an interest. I didn't know it was electric harps. So maybe, and I'll look it up.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Let me see. Is an electric? Wait, does an electric harp high impedance? Yes, an electric harp can be high impedance.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's something that's electronic, not acoustic.
Yep. Throwing power back. So just think about if it's throwing power, then
yeah. Gotcha.
I learned something new my own self. I didn't know it was electronic harps. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, electroacoustic too. Talk about toys.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Okay, so if you did have that coming in, then you have the option to actually bring it down from a high impedance. Okay. Now the other of these four is
there's electric violins too now.
Now I did know electric violins. I have seen those, but I haven't seen electric harps.
And I think all the strings, maybe even violas and.
Really, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
It's cool. Okay, so you would plug it in there.
Yeah.
Here we're looking at Remember I talked about 25 decibels, like
Yeah,
bringing
yeah.
it down.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing here.
Now, what is this? Bringing it up or
Which one, the
leaving it?
48V?
No, this here.
So if I have it up instead of down, then it's just 0,
Oh.
right? If I
But
press it, then I'm taking
these are
away.
all minus these. So you
Minus
have 4.
25.
That'll do that.
Mhm.
And remind me what this guy was. You said this. I have to be sure this is always down.
For what you're doing, yes, because the microphones you're going to have are what's called the microphones that you're recording the harp with are going to be condenser microphones. Okay, now these are not the type of microphones that you would usually have on stage somewhere, usually. Okay, there's always a caveat with that. Sometimes overhead drums use condenser mics, but for the most part, if somebody's singing in it,
Yeah.
On stage, it's probably not a condenser mic. It's probably what we call a dynamic microphone.
Okay.
Right now, in studio,
No.
they'd be singing into a condenser mic.
Yeah.
And the thing is that they're very, very, very sensitive, extremely sensitive, because they're made to pick up all the nuances of every song.
Okay.
Whereas dynamic mics, they're made for live performances, like
they're
all
made
kind
more
of stuff.
for amplification.
Yeah, so like this stuff going on everywhere, and they need to be aware of it. And but like for this, you're capturing usually one sound, right? Not all the time, but like that's the general thing. And it's because it's more sensitive, you use it in a more controlled environment. Okay. So and that button there, 48V, is for phantom power. And when you press it, it powers those mics. Now, we're not using any of these types of mics, but I do want to mention it on tape here that for those microphones, if it's what's called a ribbon mic, okay, it's a type of vocal mic, and most of ribbon mics do not need phantom power. The overwhelming majority don't, and the kicker is if you do turn it on, you will destroy that $2, $3, or $4,000 microphone like that. So it's the reason. So we have ribbon mics, but we wouldn't bring them because you need phantom power for the other ones. Now some boards allow you to do phantom power per channel. This one is just giving you phantom power for all the channels together, right? That's one of the ways they're able to save money in this, because some of them I can actually turn it on and off for that one particular channel. Oh, okay. And some boards don't have it at all, right? So that one thing allows you to be able to plug in a condenser microphone, and that condenser microphone will work. It will have power to actually have sound come through it because we're sending power to it. Okay. Make sense?
Yep.
All right. Any other questions?
That's the deal.
All right.
Okay, good.